All right, welcome back to the video. I got lots of good news. So first piece of good news is that the lunchtime video was a bit shorter, and it actually made me feel really good to work on that and to do that video. The last few days, I've just been feeling really bad. I ate 2 bags of Doritos because they sent me the wrong groceries. They sent me my order, which is just all health foods because I'm trying to be more healthy during COVID-19 and working from home and stuff. I have just more control over what I eat, so I want to be making better decisions because I could easily just gain weight and just eat junk food. So I'm really careful about the decisions I make now. More so than if I were to go in an office, I'd have a donut every once in a while, something like that. But now that it's all, it's all on me. I'm trying to get healthier. So that's just kind of the backstory of why I've been feeling pretty bad these last few days. I received extra groceries that contained food that would not be on the yes list normally, and I ended up eating it all. So the good news, though, is that the lunchtime video actually made me feel a lot better. I just felt really good making that video because I've been skipping making some videos, and I'm not sure why I've been doing that. I guess my reasoning had been, oh, you know what, I just don't have the energy to make the video. But it turned out to be the opposite. It's once I start making the videos, that's when I start feeling a lot better. So that's really good news. So I'm going to kind of continue with that train of thought and make the after work video. So, yep. So that's the other piece of good news is that I am making the after work video today. The last few days I have not done that. So, yeah, lots of good news. And I think I am starting to feel a little bit better too. Like, all I've got in my pantry now is health food. Now that I got rid of all the junk food, and if that happens again, I'm just gonna toss it out. I actually follow. There's a really good YouTube channel about homeless people, and they say like when you have junk food, like it's not even like that humanitarian or nice to donate it to pantries or like give it out to homeless people because homeless people don't want junk food either. And not only that, look at how bad it affected me, having an apartment, having a job. Could I imagine, if I was in a dire situation, going through the same kind of indigestion and lethargy that I had experienced. So I bring that up because if this happens again, I'm just going to toss it in the garbage where it belongs. They did send me some non-food items that I still have. I'll probably bring to a homeless shelter, but I've definitely learned my lesson about junk food. I mean, I enjoy junk food. I have it every once in a while, but I try to plan when I eat it. So when I'm eating it outside of my plan, it's really just not something I can do safely. All right, but let's continue on with the test. So last part of the test, we learned about how regexes can be used to match the AS path, and we applied a policy to router 8 to use a regex to match a specific AS path. So if it had 2 in it, we were going to change the local preference on that route to 200. And the higher the local preference, the more preferred the route is. So of the 3 routes, we made it so that we've now only got 1 route in the table because that was the only route that matched our policy that included a regex expression. Okay, so that was really quick. Only took me like 15-20 minutes. Perfect. That's good thing that I can get through a topic quickly. So next topic, we're going to be learning about route redistribution. So this is another one I feel pretty confident in. It really just comes down to a policy. So So yeah. Yeah, and kind of speaking more towards, because one of the kind of problems I've been having recently is just with everything that's going on, you know, I've been focusing on the news a bit too much. I've been kind of having a lot of negative thinking, you know, what happens if this, what happens if that, and I've really kind of been, I think, a little bit too focused on the negatives, because there are some positives. You know, there definitely aren't that many positives, but one of the positives is that I am making this video. And if I were to not be able to take this test, I'm constantly thinking of that as a really negative thing. But you know, it could be a positive thing because I'm going to pivot on to my Kindle books. As you can see here, I've got I've actually got 3 Kindle books. And I was making a video series before for mastering Python networking. Unfortunately, this book I'm really not a fan of, but you can see, oops, I accidentally bookmarked this, but you can see in my, where I left off here, I had gotten 38% of the way done with this book. So if I just spend my lunch and after work time videos on this book, I should be able to get through it in a few weeks. And then I've got another book here, Python for DevOps. Really excited to get through this one. I really like this book. And then after that, I can do the Python cookbook. So it's just, you know, the whole world is my oyster, basically. If I, so Kindle, yeah. So let's try to find some books here. Let's do Python network programming. So you can see we've got, this one looks pretty good. Network programmability and automation. I could do that one. There's just a lot of Kindle books I could do. Yeah, Violent Python, this looks good because I'm interested in security as well. Linux book. So yeah, classic, this one looks interesting as well. So just trying to say that, you know, the world's not going to just come crashing down in the next year. I'm still going to be here, I think, unless I get COVID-19 and die, but I don't think that's likely. So there are definitely things I can do to, I kind of have been following the sports a little bit, NBA, and they say win the break. So I can win the break, and then when things kind of get more back to normal, hopefully I will have kept myself more sharp and can be ready to kind of come back even better than I was before. So let's use that same strategy that I used before, which is the help apropos. So it's going to be set CLI screen length 0, and now help apropos. Okay, so let's do this. So this is probably going to be the very first thing I do on the exam. The more I think about it, the less I think the treasure trove script is going to be the right way to do it. I think just doing everything here, I didn't have a timer on it, but I would be very surprised if that took more than 1 minute, whereas the treasure trove takes easily 10 minutes, especially for me typing it out and memorizing it. This is just a much better way to do it. And not only that, when I'm using secure CRT, I won't have to just highlight everything like this. I can just do a select all and have it right away. And I can even clear my scroll back buffer. So it's really nice and easy. I kind of wish I had secure CRT so I could demo that stuff as part of this channel, because that's more valuable than a lot of things when you're working in network engineering. I think it's really important to have a terminal that allows you to, I think one of the most important things in a terminal is to be able to take stuff out of the terminal as easily as possible, because if you're just sitting around in the terminal and you hit the wrong key or whatever, that can be very problematic. So there are definitely a lot of times where it's better for you to take it out of the terminal, as I'm doing here. So if you've got a terminal that doesn't allow you to do that quickly and easily, it's more difficult to build this habit. Okay, so now let's go side by side. So this is route redistribution for BGP route policy. So let's look up policy. Okay, and let's see how many matches we've got. So quite a few matches. This is kind of the problem I had, where treasure trove might be better because you're going to have fewer matches, but we've got it for various other topics. Let's see if we get another match for, so let's use regular expressions, and let's say anything 0 more times, then BGP, then anything 0 more times, and then policy. Okay, so we've only got one match. Let's find that match. Okay, so, oops. See, this is what I mean where there's too many results. Using the treasure trove, I only get about 800, so it's much easier to work with. Okay, but let's look for, now I wish there was a way to just find multiple words regardless of the order. So yeah, it's looking to be kind of difficult here. Let's go down to the BGP section and just take a look. So this is going to be route redistribution. Okay, so this looks like it could be good because it's the routing information base. So it could be talking about route redistribution. Let's keep that in handy. Keep that handy. Now, I wonder if this has to do with grid groups. I'm pretty sure that's going to be on the test. So let's take a look at the help for that. Okay, now this is going to be routing policy. So it's not going to be under routing options. It's going to be routing policy. Let's take a look at route policy. Routing policy. How about just policy? Okay, here we go. So policy options, this is going to be it. So let's see if there's any policy options for BGP. Okay, so we've got a few things that seem relevant to BGP. So here's apply-path-bgp, that looks interesting. We've got as-path, that looks interesting. What about route filter evaluation? Let's look at standards and then as-path-prepend. Okay, so everything looks pretty good. So route filter evaluation, I think I'm going to do that as well because that's how you redistribute pretty much, is you have route filter, you use a route filter and then you export. So we've got a prefix list. This looks really good because this has to do with route redistribution. These looks really good as well. ISP-network routes. Let's do this. This looks really good as well. So we've got route redistribution examples here. We've got where we export routes to ISIS. We export them from level 1 to level 2. Let's go with this one because it's BGP routing policy. So this is going to be redistributing OSPF routes to BGP. Okay, so I think that's going to be it. I think that's good enough. So yeah, let's just go through and see if any of this is interesting. We'll start with the last one. Okay, so this is redistributing OSPF routes into BGP. Perfect. So yeah, this looks really good. Save this and put it in Notepad++. Okay, so this is all pretty darn simple. We know we've done this a million times before. It's just basically you just make an export policy. So this is kind of interesting here. I've never seen this. So let's see here. Redistribute OSPF routes from area 1 only into BGP. Do not advertise routes learned by BGP. So, yep, there we go. Okay, so I think we can do that. So yeah, let's do that. So we're going to take a closer look at this connection here at these two routers. Okay, so we can see that they've got BGP on them. They've got static routes. Let me look at the other one. Okay, so here, same deal. So the reason it's set up this way is because we've got those multiple paths. So we've got a path to here. Yeah, so that's what the purpose of this is. But of course, we don't have to. So yeah, so we see we've got the export policy here from protocol direct. So all it would be if it were an export policy from OSPF is from protocol OSPF, and then we can filter it down even further just from area 1. So really nothing fancy, nothing we haven't done kind of a million times before. So I think I'm gonna call this topic good, because I just don't think there's anything that confusing about it, especially since I did the series 960, where I actually was very confused. I did not understand what was the difference between an import and an export policy, and when it was appropriate to use an import versus when it was appropriate to use an export. I did not understand it at all. And in fact, what I used to do is I had such little understanding of when one was required over the other. I used to just apply them both, hoping that the behavior I wanted would occur because I didn't know what would trigger that behavior. I was hoping just by including both of them, I could essentially guarantee that the behavior I was expecting would happen. But I realized since that it's the perspective of the routing table. That's where import and export, those terms are applied from the vantage point of a routing table. So if you think of your routing table as a country, when your country exports things, it sends it out to other countries. When your country imports things, it sends it in from other countries. So you're determining what is sent out from the routing table to other routers with an export policy, and you're determining what comes into the routing table from other routers with an import policy. So as we saw on router 8, I applied an import policy to change the local preference on the route with a AS path that matches the regex I used in my policy option, because that determines what my routing table looks like. But you can see here, I'm using an export policy to send this out because this determines what other routers' routing tables will look like. So I'm exporting. So I have a very clear and complete understanding of that, I believe. So really when it comes to routing policy, I really think, when it comes to route redistribution for, yeah, I think it's going to be good. I have just arrived. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got a delivery coming here at 6. So it's health food. Well, it's kind of health food. I still got a box of cereal left from my extra groceries. I normally don't buy cereal. This luckily isn't too bad. It's just like regular Cheerios. So I'm getting some milk. I'm getting some flax milk. That definitely is on the yes list. And then I'm getting some sweet corn as well, which is on the yes list. So yeah, that's coming soon. So I'll probably have a hard limit on this video at 6, but until then, I do feel very confident with this topic, route redistribution. Now I know they're going to get as crazy can be, but I think I'll be okay. I don't know, maybe practicing that would be a good idea, but I'm hoping I can just kind of figure it out during the test. But let's spend the rest of this time going over those matches that I found here, and seeing if any of these make any help me will help me on my way. Okay, so we went through that one. Let's work backwards. Okay, and we'll enter them all on router 7. Okay, so this is requesting specific routes on the customer 2 router. Customer 2 has a link to the ISP, as well as a link to AS8000. This customer, oops, my stomach's starting to hurt really bad all of a sudden randomly. I think I'm gonna pause it quick and come back. Okay, I'm back. No big deal. I just had to. I was holding it too much. So, all right, let's continue on. So, customer 2 has a link to the ISP as well as a link to AS8000. This customer has requested specific customer routes from the ISP as well as from AS8000. Customer 2 wants to use the ISP for transit service to the internet, as well as transit, and has requested a default route from the ISP. So kind of interested to, this is kind of an interesting example. So let's see if there's anything to do with route redistribution on this one. Okay, so I don't see anything to do with route redistribution. I do see a lot of very interesting as-path statements, which is what we learned about in the last topic, which was using regular expressions, which we've got here for the as-path. And then we call them in here. Okay, so that I think that's interesting for the last topic, but I'm going to call that last topic good. So let's look at the next command. All right, so this is configuring a prefix list. The following example: accepts and rejects traffic from sites specified using prefix lists. Okay, so yeah, nothing too relevant there. Let's cross that off and move on. All right, so yeah, I'll just go through all of these. It might take me a little bit, but I've got, I don't have that much to do anyways until my order comes. This one looks a little bit better. Now, one thing to notice about this one is Yeah, so this is a really good example of something I would miss with the treasure trove script. So if I do match example like this, as I have filtered out with the treasure trove script, I would not get this documentation showing up. So yeah, I think I'm better off the way I'm doing it now. How a route list is evaluated. During route list evaluation, the policy framework software compares each route's source address with the destination prefixes in the route list. The evaluation occurs in 2 steps. The policy framework software performs a longest match lookup, which means that the software searches for the prefix in the list with the longest length. The longest match lookup considers the prefix and prefix length only and not the match type. The following sample route list illustrates this point. The longest match is the second route filter, which is based on prefix and prefix length only. Okay, so let's try to get a better understanding of that. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. So it's, even though this is the first statement, if you had a route coming in where this was the longer match, it would go with the second statement. Okay, my delivery driver is going to be here soon. Oops, I'm getting a bunch of notifications now. Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't order that much, so probably do it a lot faster. Normally it takes them a little bit to deliver my groceries, but I usually get like a lot. Once an incoming route matches a prefix, longest first, the following occur. The route filter stops evaluating other prefixes, even if match type fails. The software examines the match type and action associated with that prefix. So hopefully they talk about walk-up here, because walk-up, from what I understand, can be a better way of matching. So let's do a walk type example, walk. Nope, so there's nothing for walk. Let's see if we've got any help for walk. Can't find walk. So yeah, I know walk-up is perhaps a better way of dealing with that. So let's do edit policy options. So it's route filter evaluation. So let's do route filter list. And then we'll do test, set, oops, let's go. Here we go. Defaults, route filter, walk-up. There we go. So it's not too hard. Understanding what it means, of course, is difficult. Unfortunately, they left me high and dry for understanding that. But it's, well, let's see if there's anything for route filter. Okay, so they might have something for walk up here. Let's take a look at that. Come on, rollback 0, exit. There we go. So let's see if we have something for walk up, because walk up is pretty useful, I think. So this is where the helper would be pretty useful. But if I have secure CRT, I can actually use Python scripting, and it should be a bit easier Like I should have a method where I can just do a for loop here and then do a match here. And that might be faster and easier than memorizing the treasure trove script. Okay, so I'm not going to read the rest of that. I think that's enough. I might even just end the video. I'm feeling pretty confident with this topic. And this is just a bit much. Let's look at rib. Okay, cross that one off. There's really not much to see there. All right, let's look at rib group. All right, not much to see there either. All right, again, nothing too fancy. All right, so we've only got 3 left, and I think my order is probably here. I heard a car door slam. No, last time they didn't send me a final, your stuff is here. Oh, okay, here we go. In a minute, okay, in just a minute. Okay, so my order is pretty much going to be here. Yeah, and I've got basically milk, so I need to get that in the fridge. Ah, look at this. We've got lots of examples of regular path expressions. So this is really good documentation here for apply-path-bgp, or sorry, no, for as-path. But this is good for our last topic. Moving on to a different topic now. And it looks like we basically had similar help. So yeah, let's look at the other 2. Hopefully I'll get a final your stuff is here message. If not, I'll end the video and then go, and hopefully things will be here. And there's something else I wanted to do at 6 anyway. Okay, so let's look at the final one. Configuring the as-path-prepend action. Then as-path-prepend. So this might be useful for the built-in looping mechanism. You can create an artificial loop, and these won't be accepted. Let's see if they give some tips about when this is necessary. You can prepend or add one or more autonomous system AS numbers at the beginning of an AS path. The AS numbers are added after the local AS number has been added to the path. Prepending an AS path makes a shorter AS path looks longer, and therefore less preferable to the border gateway protocol. So that's a good point. So not only can you make it artificially appear as though there's a loop and reject it entirely, you can get more granular than that and just say, use this as a backup route because this other route has a shorter AS path and is more preferable. You can just affect it that way, but still keep it as a valid route. Okay, so that's it. I'm gonna end the video. I think my stuff's here. I don't think they gave me a final your stuff's here email. They didn't last time, so it's probably just sitting out there. It's It's flax milk, so I gotta put that in the fridge. So I think this is going to be the only video here for this topic. So I'll see you. So I'm gonna actually mark this done, and then the next video will be BGP communities. But again, in my 960 series, I think I really did BGP communities justice. So that's going to be pretty short as well. But I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.